All right, so as I discussed the background to the Prophet Muhammad and the Quran, his recitation, revelation, I'm going to have to briefly kind of address what's in the text. And again, it's important that you read the text because it's covering actually some great things in here that I'm not going to be able to talk about, but I want you to be aware of as well. Okay, so we can see some great architecture here. Anyhow, um, I'm not going to go into detail like with this one. Just to say that after Muhammad dies, there's what they call the era of rightly guided ones, and they just had khalifas or the caliphs. Okay, now I want you to remember this. I'm going to bring this up because with ISIS, and I keep bringing this up because most of you, if you're watching the news, this is going to come to your mind. There is this man that rules it who claims to be the caliph, the khalifa of all Muslims. Well, keep in mind that since the beginning, not all Muslims necessarily agreed on who should be the Khalifa, and do not, think that he can just control and command any Muslim to do his will. The many Muslims that are going to him are the people who are aligning themselves. That's them. That's the, I just want to make that really clear. So, in any case, in other words, not all Muslims are obligated to follow him. He's making the statement, and some people are going to believe in his authority, and others are not, and the majority do not. Okay, that's what I'm trying to make clear. So, we start with this happening, and there's immediately tensions, but it gets worked out, and ultimately the ummah, the community, is going to survive, okay, and expand itself. Under Uthman, the Quran is going to be compiled. Okay, I'm just going to move on here, and we're going to get to Ali because we talked about the Sunni Shiite split, and this is what we're going to have to discuss. Ali is important to the Sunnis and the Shiites, but he's more important to the Shiites because he was the cousin and son-in-law of Muhammad. Okay, and he married Muhammad's daughter Fatima. But he really had difficulty ruling for the various reasons that are talked about in the textbook. And ultimately, he gets assassinated. And this ends this era of rightly guided ones, as Islamic tradition talks about. So supporters of Ali, and by the way, you're going to notice there's a portrait of him here. Shiites view pictorial art in Islam a lot different than their Sunni Sunni Muslim equivalents as a general rule. Okay, just to point out. So this is a Shiite depiction, meaning not a Westerner drawing this. This is a Shiite picture of Ali. So they're going to claim that his son Hassan should be made caliph. They believe, so the Shiites believe that the bloodline is of Muhammad should continue to rule this ummah, this Muslim community. But Muawiyah, as mentioned in the text, is the guy that is going to be able to take solid ground. And sorry, my phone's getting text right now. Anyhow, probably from some of you students actually. Anyways, he founds the Umayyad dynasty, and he's going to move his capital from Medina to Damascus, which is in Syria now. From now on, all Muslim dynasties are not going to be based in the place of origin of Islam, not in Arabia, okay, which is now Saudi Arabia. I have this picture of this one guy. He's a popular Saudi cleric, and he's basically defending Muawiyah, okay, because that's a contentious thing for Shiites and Sunnis, and Saudi Arabia now is very pro-Sunni, like super hardcore. Anyhow, this is in Syria, the poor country that is just being ripped apart by warfare right now. All right, so the Shiite-Sunni split. These pictures are also, again, Shiite pictures. You don't see pictures like this in the Sunni world, okay? But very graphic, and basically there's a battle you have a group of people who follow Hussein, the second son of Ali, and want him to be caliph. And he leads a battle party, and they meet at Karbala in southern Iraq. Okay, this is important. Remember, Iraq is predominantly Shiite. Okay, the birthplace of Shiaism, and this split originates in southern Iraq. Okay, so Hussein and his supporters there are slaughtered. Okay, as this picture depicts. This is a very graphic picture. This is again something that Sunnis don't do, obviously, and many Sunni Muslims are kind of baffled by. Some Shiite clerics are even against this, or not. But the day of Ashura is commemorated by Shia Muslims as a day of mourning for the martyrdom of Hussein ibn Ali, son of Ali, the grandson of Muhammad, at the Battle of Karbala. So in southern Iraq, you have these things where they beat themselves and cut themselves, basically kind of collectively punishing themselves that they didn't, as a group back then, solidify around the rightful caliph, and that he was killed with his young child there. And so then this is a very unique Shiite aspect. Ultimately, the Umayyad dynasty is going to become one of the first successful dynasties. And after all this chaos and killing of Hussein at Karbala, Abd al-Malik is going to bring back unity in 692. And he's going to make Arabic the official language of administration, spread Islam from North Africa to Spain and Central Africa. Syrian Monophysite Christians are favored over other Christians, the Jacobites. And that was something that you see is interesting, is because remember when I talked about all these Christian groups that were excommunicated at the Council of Chalcedon? Well, many of them fought on the side of Muslims coming in because they were so persecuted by Orthodox Christianity, and that the Muslims favored them because they weren't linked to the Byzantine Empire, who they were in conflict with. So temporarily, these Christian groups got a boost. Later on, they're going to become minorities in a huge Islamic-dominated nation. But at the time, perhaps it seemed like it makes sense for them to take that position. So they were favored by the Muslims, the Syrian Monophysite Christians. In any case, then also Arabic coins replaced Greek, Coptic, and Persian. The Dome of the Rock, which is in Jerusalem now, was constructed over the Temple Mount that was destroyed by the Romans. It was located for the Muslims by a Yemenite Jewish convert, called an apostate by Jews, but a convert by the Muslims, Ka'b al-Akhbar. And this is a contentious part. So I've often always say that the current Israel-Palestine conflict shouldn't be looked it's something rooted more in the 19th century and on. But there are some hot spots that are linked further back. In this case now, there are actually some Jewish extremists, you could call them, that want to blow this up, and they want to reinstitute their temple. And so this has actually been stopped by the Israeli Mossad, because they know what that will unleash from the Islamic world, doing something that extreme. But it is a bone of contention in the Middle East right now, due to the fact that it's holy to these two people, and now Jews have political power in that section of the world. Okay, so we reach all the way into Spain, but you'll learn more about that in the video. Let's see here. Okay, so just to give you some retrospect, the age of the caliphs, the expansion under Muhammad, we see from 622 to 633. Then there's more expansion under the Rashidun, or the rightly guided ones, and then more expansion. And this is what the world looks like in a relatively short time after the death of Muhammad. Islam spreads like wildfire. And it's actually quite mind-boggling how quickly Islam spreads throughout the world. I'm going to end here. I wanted to stick to just 10 lectures. I'm going to have to do one more, and then that's it for this section.